To go to the McPhillips beach, you head north of the main parking lot at Cape Kiwanda. Then take a left down a very small road, and then on the right is a small parking lot. You can walk to the beach easily from there. And if you walk to Cape Kiwanda, it's a mile south on the beach. A very nice beach walk. But if you choose to drive on the beach, you take a big risk of getting stuck. At the time, the McPhillips family owned 302 acres, and that included Cape Kiwanda. The family let people use this for nothing, but finally couldn't afford this. McPhillips Beach and Cape Kiwanda was offered for sale to the Oregon State Parks, but was turned down because of the liability of people being swept off the Cape and drowning. Portland General Electric purchased an option to buy the property to build a nuclear power plant, but after some studies, it was found to be unstable and unfit for a power plant. Some of the property was sold to other investors who developed it for homes and even a trailer park. The Oregon State Park finally ended up with Cape Kiwanda and McPhillips Beach to save it from investors, and it makes a wonderful natural area. On the north side of the Cape, there are fossils of seashells and occasional mammal bones from sea mammals. The Oregon State Parks built a fence on the Cape and put up signs which help keep people from being swept into the ocean and drowning. This helped a lot, but occasionally it still happens by people crossing the fence.
The early hang gliders used to fly off the Cape in their old style hang gliders, but since they've improved the hang gliders, I haven't seen them there hardly at all anymore. But the beach is just an excellent place, and you can climb up on the Cape from the McPhillips beach side and see the sights. It's a well worth it hike to go up there, and Haystack Rock is always looking over you as you go up there. The Cape itself is sandstone and very fragile and is continuing to be eroded away back into the sea. In Oregon, we're very fortunate to have most of our beach for public access in, and it's supposedly free, although there are some places you have to park to go down to the beach, and the way they get away with that, they say these parking lots aren't the beach. The early spring was a great time to go down here and check it out. And I did drive down on the beach just a little ways, but I just went down there far enough to make a U-turn. I don't like all that salt and sand on my vehicle. They deteriorate it, and if you do that a lot or go far, sooner or later you're going to get stuck. And that's the absolute worst thing in the world, to get stuck on the beach with the tide coming in. You would just panic. After driving on the beach, we make the very short trip up this little narrow road to where the parking lot is for McPhillips Beach, and then onto the main highway, and then we'll take that 1 mile drive back to Cape Kiwanda and look that over a little bit on the developed side. Back out the windy little road, and this forest has a lot of wild rhododendrons that'll be blooming for too long, and then up the steep little grade and on to the Main Coast Highway and back the 1 mile to Cape Kiwanda. At Cape Kiwanda, there's a large developed parking lot and some restrooms, but this is Tillamook County, and they have a fee for parking in the parking lot, which amounts to $10 a day, or you can get a seasonal permit if you're going to be there much. which we did. We bought the seasonal permit. And then on down past some of the houses that have been built here. Some are a little older and some are quite new. And on down to the county parking lot at Cape Kiwanda. Cape Kiwanda has had a tremendous growth spurt in the last few years with some large motels and hotels right down within walking distance of the beach. We go here quite frequently because it's real close to our property our beach property that we're working on, and we have a yearly county permit, so we don't have to pay extra to go into the parking lot. We paid for it for a year's amount all at one time. So we'll go into the parking lot and just look around a little and see what's happening. Some of the big motels and hotels that have been built here in recent years. And Haystack Rock is still standing tall out at sea as we pull into the parking lot. Here's where we headquartered when I was a park ranger. We built the fence on top of Cape Kiwanda, the original one, back in the 1970s when the parks first acquired the property. They hurried and built that fence, and so I was fortunate enough to be in on that. But none of these hotels or motels were here at that time, so they've sprung up recently, and most of the signs have been put on recently. This place really gets a lot of tourist traffic now. It used to be that it was very rare to see this parking lot full, but now it seems to be full most all the time, and people are enjoying this beach. You can walk the beach south of Cape Kiwanda, and that's a fairly decent hike, but not as nice as McPhillips Beach, I think. And then there's some restaurants and beer places and other things right near the parking lot. Most of the businesses at Cape Kiwanda are relatively new within the last few years. Not real new, but relatively new. And there's sure plenty of them there. Souvenir shops and restaurants and all kinds of places to eat and drink, and anything the tourists might want might just be here. There's even a little group of deer that you see on the streets here at Cape Kiwanda, between Cape Kiwanda and Pacific City, which are basically almost together, and you'll see these deer walking around on the streets.